What's up, guys? Jake from Atomic Athlete here. Got another question from actually an in-gym athlete this time. A guy named Jay Warren's been in our gym a couple of weeks now, and we were checking in with him, and he replied back with this kind of question, I guess. The program has been great. I do have a question on working in school-specific training with programs, mostly rucking and running. I've got a jungle warfare and an advanced mountain warfare course coming up in 2026, along with several big hunts. Any suggestions? Okay, so first off, great question. I'd say we get this question very frequently from combative athletes, guys who do jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai, as well as endurance athletes who have a high volume of like running and swimming or riding they want to do outside the gym, okay? And the gym programming, the daily grind, is 5 days per week, okay? We run a 5-day training block because we're running a commercial gym, all right? And so some people want to come 3, some want to come 4, some want to come 5. If they want to come all 5 days, we want to have something for them to do, okay? A lot of our programs, the frequency could be spread out to 3 days a week or 4 days a week. They don't always have to be 5, all right? That's just how we execute them in the gym. So adding in rucks and runs on a weekly basis, even if you're doing all 5 training sessions, absolutely fine, okay? Couple things you want to kind of consider as you think about adding in these rucks and runs. So first of all, you should always ruck and run on a weekly basis if you have any specific reason to, okay? Because we need to kind of keep that base there. And I don't really mean an aerobic base, like an endurance base, more of a base tolerance of volume. So your connective tissue, your joints are able to handle that activity, all right? And doing so on a regular basis. So when you do transition into a school, a hunt, or maybe a half marathon training program, your body's acclimated to the actual stress of the movements, okay? Probably the most common injury we see, I mean, it happens all the time in the gym, is that someone's like, oh, I'm gonna take a break from the gym, I'm gonna sign up for this half marathon or marathon. They jump on a program that ramps their volume up very quickly, and they end up getting hurt, okay? Not because the program was bad, just because they probably were not rucking or running or doing that activity on a weekly basis, and then they just jumped up their volume very significantly, okay? And it really just comes down to volume and intensity, right? Something to consider is that if your intensity is low, and when I say intensity, I also mean impact, you can do quite a bit, all right? And think about the difference of a Concept 2 bike and a ruck run, right? If you can do both of those at the same intensity, but one's going to incur significantly less stress on the body and take a lot less time to recover than the other one, okay? So cycling is one of those sports or activities you can do a very, very high volume of, get a lot of the benefits from the activity and the volume, but not incur stress, okay? Another thing to think about is as you are really far away from an event, okay? Let's say this guy's going to go to school in like 6 months. You don't need to do a lot of that specific activity. You just need to probably do it on a weekly basis, okay? And then as you get closer to that activity, you're probably gonna bump up the frequency, definitely bump up the intensity, as well as potentially bump up the volume. It really depends if it's a volume game or intensity game, right? You're trying to finish really fast or just complete the activity, all right? The same logic's gonna apply to any kind of like PFT you do, right? So APFT, ACFT, any military physical fitness test with the push-ups, the sit-ups, the pull-ups, same thing. You just need to keep those activities in or those exercises in like once a week, and that'll kind of keep you fairly fresh on it. And then as you get closer to the event, you're gonna start replacing gym sessions with those sport-specific, or I should say assessment-specific movements, all right? So the short, easy answer I would give Mr. Jay Warren here is do 45 to 90 minutes of low impact aerobic work per week. Ruck for 60 to 90 minutes per week with 30 to 50 pounds at a natural gait. If you do our programming 3, 4, or 5 days a week, and then you add in maybe 2 45-minute runs or a run and a ride, and then a ruck, you're gonna be absolutely fine. You're gonna keep those base qualities nice and high, and when you're ready to transition into your sport-specific stuff, you'll be good to go.